This week, we're going to build an extremely basic spine tester. Making primitive bows is only half the equation. If you're really into it, you need to take local material and make your own primitive arrows as well, which I find to be oftentimes much harder than making a bow. This is the spine tester I use for bunching natural materials like river cane or viburnum. I made it using a 1x12, a dowel rod, an 1/8" piece of metal rod, some screws, some L brackets, a muffin tin filled with lead, which is equal to about 2 pounds, a J hook, and then your basic hand tools and a square pencil tape measure. Should be things you have laying around, and the wood can be made out of scrap also. Rip a 2-inch wide piece of the 1x12, approximately 28 inches long. I go ahead and rip it full length, and that way you'll have enough for the uprights and a little bit that you're going to need to hold your shafting material. I cut 6 inches and 2 of those off my drop, and that gave me enough for my uprights that will hold my material that I'm going to spine test. Mark the center of those two and then drill a hole approximately big enough for the largest shafting material that you think you're going to use. This will make the saddle that your shafting material will set in. You're going to need 2 of these, and they're going to need clearance for your weight when it hangs off your shafting material. Next, use your L brackets and screw the uprights into your 28-inch base piece that will give you the full length for your shafting material. Be sure and have both straight and square to your base plate. With your upright saddles in place, you should end up with something that looks a whole lot like this. On the base plate, mark 14 inches. That will be the midpoint where your pendulum and your weight need to hang. On the board that you cut your 2-inch piece out of your base plate, now mark it at 16 inches and cut a full width piece out of that. That will be your dial for your pointer indicator. Screw your plate on flush and square with your bottom plate and one side of your uprights. Using your 14-inch midway point, take your square and make a line straight up on your dial plate. I now take my dowel and put it in my saddles and use that as an indicator for where my shafting material will lay later. 2 inches off your center mark at the same height as your shaft will be where you put your pivot point hole for your pendulum. I use an 1/8" drill bit and 1/8" round stock to make my pivot rod. Having cut your dowel rod to make your pendulum, drill one hole 2 inches from the end and then another hole in the end, sticking the 1/8" rod opposite directions. One will be what your arrow shaft pushes against, and the other one will be your pendulum point. Now you can insert your pendulum onto your backboard using the rod that is at the 2-inch mark on your pendulum. At this point, check it to see how loose or tight it is. It should move fairly easily, but not overly loose. Now I'm going to take an arrow of known spine weight, add my weight, and mark where it comes in. I'll do this with a few different arrows of the same spine weight and sort of take an average spot, because these are just going to be for shafts, so I'm not fine-tuning any arrows with this.
Everywhere. You hit every tree. Yep. I'm staring at it.
I did mine with 3 different weight arrows. That way I know I am pretty good from around 40 to 60 pounds. Making a mark for each weight. That's about all there is to it. You won't get any fine-tuned arrows, but you will get your shafts approximately spined all the same. Hope this has been a helpful video, and as always, please hit that like and subscribe button, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much.